Hello, today we are going to talk about Job 5, and I am Deanna. I will be your teacher. So we'll start by first having a recap. So who can tell me about what they learned in chapter 1? Or can tell me about the first few books of Job? Go ahead, Brandon.
God and the devil sometimes converse or discuss with each other. And through that, they have, in this story at least, made a bet effectively on Job's life. And that happens in chapter 1.
All right. And what happened to Job's family? I can't see who that is, but go ahead. Tio Ralph. Sorry,
Okay.
we'll go Hannah next.
His family, he lost his children.
He lost his children. What else happened to him, Hannah, in the beginning chapters of the book before chapter 5?
They died, all of them.
Yeah.
They all killed, yeah.
Yes. And what about his fields and animals?
Yeah,
They all
died.
killed.
Yes. He lost all his family, his livestock, his servants,
Yeah,
everything. And as Brandon mentioned, that was through Satan, and God allowed that to happen. Then he was also inflicted with many sores from head to toes, and then some people came to visit him. Does anyone remember the name of the friend that came to visit him? In the last chapter he talked? Go ahead, Tierney.
Eliphaz is one of
Eliphaz. Yeah, or I might be saying it incorrectly, but yes. Good. So Eliphaz was talking in the last chapter, and he was inferring that Job was in this condition because he sinned, and
yeah.
Job was feeling hurt and sad because he felt this way. And then in the chapter before that, which we didn't really touch upon these parts, he was cursing his birth date, the night he was conceived. But through all of these chapters, with all of the stuff he's going through, he never curses God. He never curses God. He just curses the other things around it. So let's jump into chapter 5. So who is talking in this chapter? Titinina? Eliphaz. Yes, he's going from chapter 4 and talking again in chapter 5. And what did Eliphaz say he would do if he were Job? Go ahead, Tio Ralph.
He said that Job should accept that he been punished by God.
Okay. He should basically appeal to God and say that what you're talking about, his sin. Go ahead, Tio Renee. You want to add to that?
Yeah, because you also, I remember a line because of between stitching, I was reading that Loki is the guy who is rebuked by God. That you should welcome being rebuked by God, which is
There's a different word later on in this, but it's very similar to what you're talking about right now. So how does Eliphaz talk about God when he's talking about him in the chapter? How does he feel about God?
He's
Angry?
Do you know?
Angry? Is very angry? Is
No.
disappointed?
No.
Go Tio Ralph.
he's omniscient. Yeah,
Brandon?
I think that he's kind of saying it with a lot of reverence or respect to God. That
Yes,
if
he's
he-
talking about God in a very pleasant way. He defends him and he's praising God. So they didn't use the word rebuked in the version I read, but it said, blessed is the one who God, what? Corrected. Yes, corrects.
King Burgess.
You're supposed to.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm glad he's that excited to participate. And Eliphaz told Job not to despise what from the Almighty? Go ahead, Hannah.
Discipline.
Discipline, yes. He told him not to despise the discipline. So again, Eliphaz is continuing on that thought that Job has sinned, and this is punishment for his behavior for what he's done. And what does Eliphaz tell Job will happen if he confesses and turns to God? At the end of the chapter, it's talking about what will happen to Job if he does this. Go
That
ahead, Giovanni.
he will be blessed.
Yes, that he will be blessed and he will get the things back in his life, so he'll be restored. Yes,
And why, I wonder why Eliphaz said to Job, to which holy ones are you gonna call upon now? Something like that at the beginning of the chapter.
yeah, so there wasn't there, in the interpretation I read of that, it was saying that he was possibly calling upon the angels versus calling upon God. I don't know, Pastor, if you want to add anything to that.
I think that might be it. That lends itself for interpretation.
But
But we know that Job was a man of God,
yeah,
so we know that he only believed in the truth God.
so he was
So
not,
much that he knew about resurrection.
he was not referring to idols.
No.
I found that a little, because he know, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, in the version I read, where from David Gusick, where he breaks down each verse and chapter, it referenced the reference of angels versus idols. It didn't mention any confusion from that perspective. All right, so that was it for chapter 5. It's pretty easy. Just keep in mind that sometimes even when people are very knowledgeable, they might be giving you their incorrect interpretation of what's going on, which is really important. So you have to know yourself, know your heart and what you are doing. Because Job, of course, is probably still very hurt because his friend continues to say, and at the end he says, it is true. This is what we're telling you, because he is so sure, Eliphaz is so sure that he knows what's going on, and it's that Job did something wrong and he needs to ask for God's blessing upon that. Go ahead.
It's very important for us when we see somebody in that condition of suffering, not to pass judgment and infer that it's because of sin. Okay, that's
That's the lesson,
That's
right?
what if I say.
teaching
Yeah.
there.
But what
Yes.
if it is because of sin?
No,
It
that,
could be because it's sin, but that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that you know for sure. And the way that Eliphaz is coming across is that he is certain that this is from Job's sin, that there's no other possibility. Go ahead, Tio Renee.
that remind me that the minister always joke with me, when you are part of, blame on you, pick on you. When you die, everyone step on you. But he said joking, but it's the truth. That's what happened to Job. Oh, yeah, you must have seen, you're doing bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're gonna be killed.
Everybody
Yeah.
gotta go up against.
praise be God.
Misfortune begets misfortune.
Yeah, that's it. I
All
love-
right. Anyone have any other questions?
That was pretty good.
All right, thank you. That's all.
Happy that I went up there and I read a couple of times. Makes sense.